Yeah, big whoop.
Gotta pull my damn pants.
Greetings.
And
Good morning.
salutations.
I'm trying something different.
Oh,
Greetings, good morning, and
Top of the morning.
top of the morning.
Top of the morning.
I was hoping there was another
coffee.
G related
Gratitui.
gratitude to all the Pixar fans in the audience. Okay, so we're doing something a little different on today's podcast. I don't have any notes. I don't have any topics. I'm going to raw dog this.
Okay, we need to be 100% candid. We're filming 2 podcasts today, and the first one we filmed is a guest, and we're not putting it out this Monday. We're putting it out next Monday.
Yeah.
And we just finished filming the podcast.
Whoa, is that your strategy for like
Yeah.
having topics?
Yeah.
You're just talking about your life?
Meta.
No, you got to
Hello.
find something.
Anyways, look forward to that. But I have something to show.
Whoa, we got a whole new Anisa.
nerds.
Oh, damn. Wow. Get a load of them apples.
My Kakashi Crocs came in. And look,
Kakashi Crocs. I like the alliteration.
it's got the Love Paradise. I think that's the translation of the romance book
Uh-huh.
that's written by Jiraiya that Kakashi reads all the time.
If you understand the language she's speaking, put an emoji of a guy with glasses in the chat.
Well, Kakashi was my first ever
Crush.
anime crush.
Yeah.
Look at the shuriken.
Bulma was my first ever
Really?
hentai crush.
That makes sense. Hentai.
Same thing.
Makes sense. She's got big tits and short hair.
Hmm. Short. She doesn't have. Well, yeah, she
Yeah.
does have short.
Did
hair.
you say shuriken?
Shuriken.
Isn't it shuriken?
Well, we're white.
Don't
here.
get us started on that, Dane.
Well, I just wanted to make sure because usually, honestly, Anisa's usually pretty cognizant of like
Yeah.
the proper pronunciation, and I was wondering if I had been saying it wrong the whole time.
Shuriken.
Shuriken.
Hmm.
If anything, I like it because it sounds funnier.
How about
Yeah.
Sharingan?
No, that's something different.
Yeah, I will say.
Spoiler alert.
Oh man,
This actually,
Now-
this is a spoiler.
is it?
Yeah.
Because you could see his devilish eye. Oh, his devilish eye.
This
He
gibbet is a literal
Oh,
spoiler.
Wait, that's crazy, right? Because in the show, he's got the eye patch on, and
For the first
wow.
until. Yeah. No, it's a big
That
spoiler.
that's weird though that they would have a spoiler version. I
Mm.
like the eye patch on there.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think it's
'cause
part
it
of
makes
why I
him
had a
look
crush
edgy.
on him, yeah.
Right. And you always wonder the mystery.
Yeah, like, why are you hiding that?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
It's hard to not get spoiled these days with shows
True.
because like I browse like YouTube and there are thumbnails with literal like Breaking Bad spoilers, like Game of Thrones spoilers.
Just ready to go. That was a question I was going to have for Adam when he was a guest. Was I wanted to talk about spoilers in general, what constitutes as a spoiler, because it kind of pisses me off, like the range of things that count as spoilers.
Well, I want to
Like, some people
know.
are weird with it. You just say like something that is in the movie, and they're like, "Nope, that's a spoiler."
Yeah, we need a
what?
universal rule, I think, of like, for me, it's more, I'm concerned about expiry dates. When has the movie expired to the
Right.
point where you can just talk about everything in it?
I agree. I agree.
I just want to know the etiquette because, like, nobody's gonna get mad if you say like the Titanic sank, and Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't get on the door.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be mad at you.
I was actually about to like correct you or whatever
Yeah.
because it's like a real event that happened.
Yeah.
But then I remembered like, oh wait, but the movie is fictional and these characters in the movie are fictional. So doesn't really apply.
Wait. So
I'm pretty sure.
Jack didn't like actually love her.
Jack doesn't be real.
Jack doesn't be nimble. Jack doesn't be quick.
And Jack certainly did not.
Ride on that dick.
Who's dick?
He's gay in that movie.
Whoa, no, in real
Jack
life.
Gay, he wanted to put the smokestack from the Titanic in his butthole.
The whole
He was
thing.
horny for it the whole time.
This is spoilers, Ian.
Well, maybe some younger people don't remember this, but whenever Titanic came out, everyone was so obnoxiously jealous of Leonardo DiCaprio because he was a handsome, young, like basically he was like Tumblr's sexy man before Tumblr came along.
He was
And everybody was so jealous they would call him gay. I remember everybody in my school be like, Leonardo DiCaprio's fucking gay. I hate him.
That's the Justin Bieber effect.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Bieber was like the second like incarnation of that in high school for me.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just get really jealous.
Looking.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that doesn't happen anymore. Maybe like Gen Z's like much more like I don't know. They don't have as much of a ego about it because I don't think I've heard anybody like making fun of new upcoming like Pretty Boy.
You'd really have to have your ear to the fucking pavement.
I think some people had some words for Little Huddy.
Yeah, for sure. What about
well, I don't know who that is, so maybe you're right.
Timothy Chalamet, Tom Holland.
People have been fat shaming Timothy Chalamet lately.
What?
Yeah,
Isn't
they're
that
talking
dude a
it like
twink?
well, they're calling it twink death.
Wow,
because
they
he
think
gained a little bit of like cheek. His cheeks aren't as hollow.
Whatever.
It's kind of disturbing to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say those shoes.
What?
The Crocs, man.
You want me to bring them up again?
Yeah, bring them up again. Let me just say, I love that blue on there.
Me too.
I didn't realize it was at the bottom as well, on the soles.
This is like
Sick.
Kakashi's
Great color scheme.
uniform.
Yeah.
It's like a dark blue. Looks black on my screen.
Yeah.
He's like, that green. They all kind of wear that green, though, in the Leaf Village,
The
right?
headband.
It's like military kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think him and Rock Lee and Guy Sensei.
Guy Fieri.
No.
Oh, Guy Fieri
Shows up in Naruto and kicks everyone's ass.
kicks everyone's ass. I love that idea.
That is such a 2010s like meme.
But yeah, no, these are literally the best thing I've ever bought in my life.
Nice. I like that. And they're cheap. Crocs are so great because
these weren't cheap.
They weren't? What were they?
Like $80.
For shoes, that's like kind of middle of the road, isn't it?
Yeah, but like
for the
this is
it's
a Croc.
Yeah. You'd want to pay a little less for a Croc.
Yeah, I feel like it defeats the but it's a collab and
it's a collector's item.
Like
you're collecting.
Hello, workable pouch.
Workable.
Wait, what's in here?
That's just to keep it from being flat.
I thought it was like a secret map.
Yeah, Naruto map.
I could get into collecting shoes.
Yeah.
I like to collect things that like have a purpose, you know, instead of just collecting dust on a shelf. And that is definitely something you'll use in addition to collecting, you know, it's cool.
What would you put in here?
Weed.
Various coins.
Indica. Sativa. I always want to call sativa saliva.
I have the same. What was the thing that all the kids were doing when we were growing up where it made you hallucinate and it was legal?
Dust bunnies.
Uh-huh.
Oh, chroming.
What?
Never mind.
I think that's when you suck someone so hard that you... Isn't that...
No.
Isn't it technically legal to do like whippets and shit?
It is, yeah. But no. There was something you could buy that was legal in Canada. I think it was salvia. And you could do it, and it would make you hallucinate. You'd have like really bad trips.
Kratom?
No, I think it was literally salvia. Does salvia make you hallucinate?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought that was just a strand of weed or something.
No, look up salvia.
I should have interviewed Internet Comment Etiquette about this.
Look up is salvia legal in Canada? Because there was a thing that wasn't weed before weed was legal in Canada that all the kids were doing. It makes you hallucinate.
Yeah.
It was a drug. It was a drug.
Man.
It wasn't like a cute thing.
It's so hard to remember. There's so many things with... There's like an official salvia page on Canada.ca.
What the fuck? Click on the official Canadian page.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the thing. Or hold it. Let me put the thing on screen.
It's literally Canada.ca.
Salvia is a general name for plants of the sage family genus. One type of salvia, Salvia divinorum, has hallucinogenic properties.
Boom. That was legal. And all the teens, they would do it and they'd have bad trips and then they'd make fun of each other.
Crazy.
That and MDMA were very popular when I was in high school.
You saying kratom like unlocked a very gross memory for me where my friend convinced me to try it and it was the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what's kratom?
It's like some fucking powder or something.
Yeah, some green powder that's like, I don't know, man. It's like... It's one of these things that is only popular because weed isn't legal.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like
what does it do to you?
It's like
what?
Yeah, nothing exactly. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's barely
hallucinogenic.
At least in my experience, it barely affected me. And it was such a bad like exchange rate of
right. You got to take 50 of them.
Yeah, you had to take so much of it, and it tasted so fucking horrible. Because you have to basically, it's like mixing a like a protein shake together or whatever with like protein powder.
There's some that came in like capsules.
Man, I wish I took
said
those.
that weird.
Yeah, you
capsules.
did. I knew what you. Some people say it like that. I don't know.
Capsules.
Yeah, the when I was in elementary, there were kids that would roll up grass in paper and then light it on fire and smoke it.
Yeah.
And grass.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, those are just like the fucking delinquent cringe kids.
They thought they heard the phrase and they thought they would do it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of just the jackass vibe of like, I'm doing it because it's fucking funny / edgy.
Do you know? So I was a weird kid, and there's a lot of stories to prove that I was a weird kid. But probably one of my favorite stories is that in elementary, you go outside for like gym and stuff. I used to, when the teacher was talking, softly pull pieces of grass out of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
So like the little root, the little white part was there.
Thing?
And I would eat the root. And I would.
Everything up to that point, I was like, oh, yeah. That's
I was like, when does this get weird?
I ate the root and I would tell kids that it's because I was like a horse.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's where the nutrients are.
I did say that as well, yeah. But I really genuinely
I mean, to be honest, it's probably the most palatable part of the grass.
It was tasty.
Yeah.
No,
well,
for real.
I mean,
didn't any of you live in an area where there were like berry trees around where you went to like recess and stuff?
No.
Yeah, I mean, but they weren't edible berries.
Yeah, they weren't edible.
Well, to a kid.
Right.
I knew better than that.
There were specific ones I remember. Oh, I love these little guys. It was almost like a popcorn kernel-sized seed with just like a skin around it, like a bluish skin around it.
It sounds like
you can kind of squeeze it, and then the seed would like pop out, and you can fire it, kind of.
Dude, I was such a little sadistic little kid because I used to have like a little pocket knife. I didn't take this to school. But I used to have a little pocket knife.
You're not going to get in trouble if you say you took it to school.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I was I was sadistic, but I was too much of a pussy to actually sneak it into school. But I used to like take I lived on, or my grandparents lived on like a kind of like a big, had a lot of land, a lot of acres and stuff. And they just happened to have these like olive trees and olives, or at least the type of olives that grew on this in this like area of their land. They were like very juicy and awesome. I used to like take the pocket knife and like slit their little throats.
Oh my God.
And I used to imagine it was like, these are like little people. I'm going to slit their
What the hell? There was a comment. There was a comment on the podcast that said that Dane is secretly a psychopath or something, or a covert psychopath. This is why.
This
Ian
was an early sign of that, yeah.
Well, Ian was like, why would anyone say that?
Yep.
Exhibit
I
A?
know.
What the hell? You slit the throats of Zaytoon people?
Yeah, but I mean, it was just pretend, and I've never told anybody. So.
Yeah. No, don't feel bad about it, Dane.
I don't. That's why I'm telling you about it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not psychotic, and I don't actually want to slit anybody's throat.
Okay. You're confident about that?
I'm pretty confident.
Just olives. Just olives.
Yeah.
Grapefruits.
I don't know, man. When it's really innocent, like I've like kind of imagined stuff like that with like
Fuck. Is this what happens when we don't have notes? You guys start talking about slitting
it's
the
kind
throats.
of like as I'm walking through the like when we're going on a hike or whatever. Like I think you've even seen me do it, where like if there's bushes and shit and trees on the side of us.
Yeah.
I'll like sometimes like fingerboard. Or like pretend that my character is like running.
Literally never seen you.
You haven't seen that
in my life. I need
Maybe
to be more observant.
To do that. But there's so many like little things like that that are just like good time occupiers, and in some cases, like the only way for it to like properly occupy your brain is for you to imagine it to be like a little a thing that you're killing or something like that.
I mean, like this was like basically me like. Like when you play a video game and you just like kill people repeatedly. Like in New Vegas, I would like basically run into a building, shoot up the entire place, and then like reload the save and do it over and over again. That was like entertaining to me.
Yeah, same.
This reminds me of like when Ian said to me, like, yeah, sometimes you just want to kick an anthill.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like half the population that's like, yeah, I totally get that. And then there's another half that are like,
yeah, I'm less, I'm less that way nowadays, but there is like this idea of like if there was some work made to create a thing, like an anthill, like a sandcastle, like an olive, like there is that desire a little bit of like, oh, I can just like, I have so much control. I can do a thing.
I can't relate to that even a little bit.
It's just a win for me and a loss for that.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I get a little bit of dopamine and that gets destroyed.
What the hell?
It's not that crazy.
This is like little boy shit though. It's not like I didn't think I looked at it as like in terms of winning and losing like that. That's a little strange.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously like
a winner.
I'm exaggerating it to try to like,
to get the
add
point
more
across.
like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
It was just more juvenile than that for me. I was just like, I don't know. It was just violent. I liked having my little contained like fantasy of violence.
Interesting.
Right. Like maybe a good example of that is like, in addition to like maybe kicking down a fucking anthill or a sandcastle, like me and my friends, we just liked, even into adult age, I just like throwing rocks.
Like like the teenagers that were throwing rocks over the overpass?
No, I wouldn't do it over an overpass. That's dangerous. But I would throw it into a lake repeatedly. I would throw it if there's like a big tree there and I want to knock off branches. I'd throw it into a tree. I'd throw rocks into other rocks and try to like split them open. It's like, even if they're not split and open, it's still just kind of fun to just be able to let it out into nature.
It's so interesting just talking about like
just
things
the dumbest shit.
Well, because like you had that and it still kind of carries into your adulthood. You said like you still have like, fun little impulses or whatever. All of my shit was like, I'm a harvester. I'm harvesting off the land. And like I still have that problem. Like one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me is we first came to Seattle and we found out that there was like blackberry bushes.
Oh, dude, this is an awesome story.
There was blackberry bushes and we decided we wanted to make a blackberry pie and I got very excited about it. So we went to this like
trail,
this walkable trail that like, but not a lot of people go on it. It's a really nice trail. And there's a bunch of bushes.
It's like lined with blackberry bushes.
Yeah, and we were
perfect
harvesting. We had our Tupperware there, and I was like getting really into it, and I just like gasped. I was so excited. I was like, oh, the kingberry. And
no, you didn't say the kingberry. That's giving you too much credit. You just said very. I don't know what the word would be.
Excitedly,
kingberry. Like we're all supposed to know what kingberry is. I mean, we knew what it was. It was the big berry.
And I turned around to like tell Ian or like look at Ian, and there was a guy that was like walking perfectly as I was saying it, and the look on his face was like,
yeah.
And I was so embarrassed because I was in my own world. I was just so excited. It was literally kingberry. It was the biggest berry I'd ever seen in my life.
It was a big berry. That was the biggest of the bunch.
Yeah. So you know,
that's awesome.
That was definitely my like childlike like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all like harvesting things.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's the harvesting thing is like in the same realm of destruction as well. Like.
You're stealing the
if I could harvest all of these things instead of breaking them, I would.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Like I'd collect rocks before breaking them, you know?
Did you collect rocks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I did too. My favorite was my tiger's eye.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
I think my fantasy around like harvesting and collecting things was like my independence. Like, oh, I found like a secret bush of berries. Now I don't have to eat food from my parents. I can sustain myself now.
So going off of that, I don't know what was wrong with me, but You know, like those skewers, the like little wooden skewers that your parents would use for like shish kebabs or like whatever. I went into the drawer, I found these skewers. I was like, oh my God, I can become like self-sustained. I'm going to make this into a bow and then use the other skewers as arrows. And I'm going to go out into the wild and I'm going to hunt deer. And I'm going to live like that. And so I took a skewer and I like slowly like warmed it up. I bent it, tied a string to it. And I was like shooting these little fucking skewers. I was convinced. I was like, this is it. There's like a ravine. You've seen the ravine by my house. I walked down there and I sat there with the little skewer bow and arrow. And I really genuinely thought I was going to hunt a deer. I really was so proud of myself.
How old were you? 14.
I was like maybe like, I don't know, like 12, 10, 12.
Dude.
I used to do shit like that too.
Yeah.
I really thought, I was like, man, I'm going to hunt. I loved Bear Grylls. I thought he was like the coolest guy ever.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to hunt big game.
Yeah, of course, with the skewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to think like what is like the appropriate age. I don't think there is an appropriate age, but I saw a TikTok. Someone was mentioning like, when do you stop watching, or when were you embarrassed to tell people that you like watch SpongeBob or some of these like cartoons?
Oh, never.
And I was like, I thought about it and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't talk about it at school. Like that area never came, or that idea never really popped in my head of like, oh, I'm going to be so embarrassed. But I definitely like, I think if someone came over, I wouldn't want SpongeBob to be on the TV.
Oh,
like that's what I was watching.
I wonder if that's the experience of like men versus women in our society, because I loved watching comfort shows or juvenile shows when like I had friends over.
Yeah.
It was almost like it's like, yeah, this is fun. Like even watching like when you got older.
I just felt like it was too much of a risk with like a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or like a first date type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely my friends, like my close friends, it wasn't a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
You'd watch SpongeBob with like Clay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Clay loves SpongeBob.
Yeah. SpongeBob's the best.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, I don't know, I can't remember really ages of when I was a weird kid. Like I thought I was a witch, I think in like I thought I was a werewolf in grade 3.
There's
and then I thought I was a witch.
That I thought I was.
Yeah.
That I just have a problem with.
I really believed it.
I
Genuinely. No, I did. I really, really believed it.
I just don't buy that.
I don't know what to tell you. I really believed it.
I wonder if it's a communication thing, because like I wanted to be a wizard. I wanted to be a Harry Potter wizard when I played wizard with my friends.
All right, no, I thought I was.
I wanted to be.
I thought I was going to turn into a werewolf.
If you did that enough?
Like I thought it was imminent.
What the fuck? You thought being a werewolf was imminent?
I thought it was in my genes.
How old?
I thought when I turned 18, I would become one.
And you thought this?
And I was like grade 3.
Grade 3.
Yeah, me and my friend.
Were you dumb?
No, I was. What the hell?
Were you stupid?
No.
You didn't fucking believe in Santa Claus.
Well, I never got the chance to believe in Santa Claus.
I don't think you would have believed in Santa Claus even if you were given the chance.
When I was in grade 5.
Oh my God.
The girl that I was best friends with.
That idea was always there. Okay.
The girl I was best friends with, it came out at a sleepover that Santa Claus wasn't real in grade 5, and she cried. I was on the same wavelength as her. We thought we were like witches and shit. So if she believed that Santa was real up until grade 5, if I was raised not Muslim, I probably also would have thought Santa Claus was real until grade 5.
Grade 5. I'm trying to think what.
That's a long time.
Okay. I had a teacher named Mr. Tinkle during grade 5.
Yeah.
You really were at Hogwarts.
I had a teacher named Mr. Foot in grade 5.
Mr.
Tinklefoot.
Mr. Foot. His name was Foot? Last name Foot?
Mr. Foot.
Change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was there's gonna be someone listening to this who's from Edmonton, same like who has had this teacher.
Yeah.
He was like if Peter Griffin was a real person.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like not in personality, but like looks.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, grade 5, I played video games, and I knew those weren't real.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah.
I don't think I
had a.
I was actually, grade 5 was the year that me and my friend Diego, we would go out into the field and we would pretend to be Dragon Ball Z characters.
Okay, that's cool.
You know who I was?
Bulma.
I wasn't Bulma. I wasn't rubbing my Bulma tits, okay? That didn't happen.
You thought you were Vegeta.
No, I was...
Piccolo.
I liked Dende.
Oh.
No one knows who Dende is.
I don't.
He's a Namekian.
Oh. You should hold the orb while you talk about it. One of the Dragon Balls.
You know Piccolo?
We're really weaving it out today.
Do you know Piccolo?
I do know Piccolo, yeah.
He's kind of like Piccolo. He was
Okay.
Piccolo's race.
Okay.
I liked Piccolo a lot. He's my first pick.
Yeah.
But
But what, your friend Diego said, no, too strong, you can't be Piccolo?
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was, we were kids.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really relate, or we couldn't relate to the older characters like Goku and Vegeta. So it was like, pick a fucking small guy. So he was like fucking Trunks or some shit like that.
Okay.
Trunks is a little guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets older throughout the series, but
He's the bald guy, yeah.
Trunks?
Yeah.
No, Trunks is like this. He was like the not fuckboy. What is like the emo kind of little huddy of Dragon Ball Z?
Can you look up Trunks, Dane?
DBZ Trunks. DBZ Trunks. DBZ
Drunks.
Kid Trunks. DBZ Kid Trunks. Oh, also R.I.P. creator of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace. That's
yeah, that
so
was
sad.
today.
Yeah. Fuck.
Day of recording. Or yesterday, maybe.
Oh, I know this guy. I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trunks
Trunks
is legit.
is cool.
I mean, he had that sick-ass part down the middle, curtain bangs.
Yeah. He's the original Levi.
Yeah. But he was sick as fuck. So my friend Diego, I think, would be Trunks or Go Tanks or some shit like that. And I was Dende.
Okay.
But yeah, Piccolo.
But you knew that you weren't an actual Dragon Ball Z character.
No, we were playing.
I think my brain is unfortunately wired very different because I also really, this one, like, I'm so, like, I really thought I was genuinely a cat when I was in kindergarten.
We need someone to cut your head open and examine that
someone cut your head off.
orb.
Kindergarten, grade 1, I genuinely did think I was a cat, and I would hiss at people. I was the kid who
If
hissed
anyone
at people.
is watching from Edmonton who was in grade 1 with Anisa,
Yeah.
Jama, say in the comments
There's
if this is some bullshit or not.
no, they will tell you. Ben,
She was a cat.
my kindergarten boyfriend can tell you.
Yeah.
Ben.
Nice.
Burn. Burn.
Fuck. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
No, genuinely. I was sent home for scratching.
The more I hear it, the more it pisses me off, though.
I can't. But you have to be prepared if we
That's
have
one of the-
kids.
oh my
there's a chance that they
God.
might genuinely believe that they're an animal.
No,
for-
they want to be it, and I get that.
No, it's not I wish. I would not hiss
Look
at
at your
children.
fucking skin.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Look at your fucking
called-
Homo sapien mouth
it's
as you talk
called
to your parents.
having an imagination.
Meow.
Yeah.
Meow.
That's what I did.
Cringe.
You could ask my mom. Next time we go back to Edmonton, ask my mom. Did my wife think she was a cat when she was 5? My mom would be like, oh, yeah.
No, she'll be like, what does your mom sound like? She'll be like, oh, no, she didn't.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, we'll phone my mom later and ask her.
Okay.
She'll tell you.
We'll
I
get her on the
genuinely-
record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to apologize publicly.
What the fuck? I don't know. I had something was cooking up there.
Okay.
Maybe it was all the head injuries from a young age. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, next on the agenda, we're going to look at some TikToks.
Oh, I thought you didn't have anything prepared.
I do have some things prepared.
What the heck?
They're sort of jumping off points
Okay.
because they stir a lot of questions in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go to, refresh that bad sucker. I guess they're favorites.
You don't want to watch these?
Probably not. Let's go with the first one. I have a lot of questions. Okay, so you don't need to unmute it.
Well, but
right now is a giggle at a funeral is getting played.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Giggle at a funeral.
That's like an Aragorn shirt.
Yeah, you have to describe it for the listeners.
Okay, so it's just someone showing their fucking. It's like a promo for an Aragorn shirt, but it says Hozier on it. It's got a bunch of images of Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, the human, and it says Hozier.
Have you ever seen Hozier?
No.
Well, I have a question.
He looks like Aragorn.
Oh, Aragorn?
Yeah.
Aragorn.
What does a Hozier mean?
What? He's Irish musician, very talented.
Oh, he's like a person?
Yeah, he's the guy who sings fucking Giggle at a Funeral.
I've never heard that.
Oh, you haven't?
I think the joke is that he looks like Hozier.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, I'm gay
What?
for Aragorn because that's a gay song.
Take Me to Church. It's not a gay song.
It's not?
No, it's just about worshiping
maybe I'm
someone.
mixing it up with like, I thought it was a gay song.
No, I think you're mixing up with Mommy don't know that Daddy's getting hot.
No, I'm definitely not getting mixed up with that.
Because that's about him having a gay affair at a auto shop, at a body shop.
Interesting. We're going to have to leave this one to the audience.
Okay, look up Hozier.
Gay song?
No, look up Hozier so we can see an image of him.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, same vibe, you know,
like
long hair, white guy,
if like, yeah,
Irish.
Whatever. I don't see it at all.
This guy is awesome. He does a lot of like surprise private show, or not private, but like surprise intimate shows. And
this guy doesn't look anything like Aragorn.
Come on, the joke
if you've never seen Lord of the Rings ever, then yeah.
Yeah, it's more of like, I like Lord of the Rings and I like Hozier, and this is a funny comparison to make, not because it's accurate, but because it's not accurate.
Look, I would like this shirt if there wasn't the confusing Hozier on it.
No, here's the... I think the joke is supposed to be that this person doesn't know what Hozier looks well. So he just saw an image of a white guy with long hair
and was like, yeah,
and was like Hozier and put it on. And I think that's the joke.
I get you.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Giggle at a funeral.
Not that it's exact.
All right, we can go to the next one.
Audio?
Sure.
Yeah, we should do audio.
I don't know what this one is.
Very large. Yeah, I didn't know until I had a pet parrot, but there's a very large conservative Republican percentage in the parrot community in the United States. This is one of the photos of the parrot Facebook groups I'm a part of. They'll do a lot of shit like this. These America parrot hoodies are really popular. Texans love teaching their parrots free flight maneuvers. They just really love parrots.
Cool.
What the
First
hell?
of all, though, I'm pretty sure, and Anisa, you can confirm this.
Yeah.
This is a parakeet, is it not?
Well, parakeets are parrots, but that's a conure.
What's a conure?
A conure is a parrot.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a
This looks
very-
exactly like a parakeet that I used to have. That's why I was asking.
Oh, yeah. Conures are great parrots.
Okay.
Great pets.
Well, especially if you're a conservative.
I always will give the caveat. I think parrots are very difficult birds, or parrots are difficult pets to own and take a lot of love and requirement, and please do your research.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a growing population of people who are essentially like telling people to not own parrots, like actively trying to tell people like don't do it.
It's very hard. They're very emotionally intelligent. They need a lot. And if you are not willing to take care of a toddler for the next 40 years, don't get one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would fucking keep me off of it.
Yeah.
A toddler for the next, you said 40 years?
40 years. Well, African Greys are like 80 or something like that. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So,
Man.
but very cute.
But yeah, that's so funny. I just think that this idea of like getting a hop. I mean, it's half hobby, but like getting a pet and a hobby or something like this, and you just sort of incidentally find out that like there's this other side of it, or it's like very popular amongst a certain group of people.
It is
be very shocking.
strange.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand the Venn diagram of owning a toddler, a permanent toddler, and being a conservative. Like what's the
that
what's
is
the interest?
interesting.
Yeah, like
my first instinct was like there is a lot of excitement around like full freedom And having exotic animals in general, I think, is more of a conservative idea of like, well, you shouldn't be able to tell me what I can and can't own.
Kind of like the Tiger King vibe.
A similar idea.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think specifically, though, about what would make birds unique, because they could do it with ferrets. They could do it with bobcats.
I have a bit of a theory. Do you think maybe like conservatives just like to like teach certain phrases and words,
skills,
like
military training?
They're into like mantras.
Yeah.
You know, like conservatives really like mantras and symbols and things like that. And I feel like if you were really obsessed with that, then you'd be like, I like my dog, but I wish that he could say like Heil Hitler and stuff like that.
Well, I was actually going to say, I think that animal training in general probably tickles the conservative brain pretty hard.
Yeah.
Which is like repetition.
And the militant training of dogs is definitely a more conservative thing.
Yeah.
Because there's like an idea of how to train. Yeah. There's such a spectrum on dog training. Yeah. Where it's like there's some people who are like, no, no negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
There's some people who are no positive reinforcement. Yeah. There's some people who are like e-collar, zap the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
There's some people who are like choke collar, fucking hit them.
Yeah.
There's some people who are like
basically
just like figuring out different ways to negatively reinforce the dog so it doesn't look like they're getting hit. That's like the Caesar Milan thing.
To get away with dog abuse.
Yeah, where you hit them with your heel and it's like, it's not dog abuse, that's a correction.
Yeah, a correction. Yeah.
Which I think there is like some amount of truth to that when you're looking at the dog psychology and what a dog would do to a dog, but we aren't dogs.
Yeah. Also, I think what I've really learned is sound repercussions
are very effective
and is what should be used. So if you don't like what your dog's doing, just going out.
Yeah.
My dog knows that out means it doesn't like what's happening, and my dog doesn't want me to be unhappy. Just teach it sound cues.
You also just need to get creative. You know, your sound cues need to, like, the other day when you clapped when Fiona was getting a little rough,
so good.
It was like, oh shit, like that got her attention in a minute.
Yeah, and you only use
minute,
that in like
half a second.
Yeah, in like really dire situations.
You don't overuse it.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
So it's just really interesting that like everyone's sharing information about dog training all the time, yet you have a bunch of people that are still like, yeah, you gotta put it in its place.
Yeah.
Roll it over.
Yeah, roll it over, pin it down. When it's pissing, go over and straddle it.
Straddle it.
Show it who's the real pisser.
Put your knuckles to its damn ribs.
Put your nuts on his chin. Show him who's a real conservative.
I'll tell you what, Fiona's never had us ever lay any type of hand in any way. If you were to fucking punch at Fiona, she would think that you were like playing type of thing. And she listens amazing. So you definitely don't need to put your nuts to your dog.
Yeah, true. I also had a theory that maybe you can't own eagles, the symbol of American freedom.
Ooh.
But you can own something that's about as smart as an eagle.
The symbol of Australian freedom.
Yeah. You know, these guys, they're smart. I wasn't going to correct you. But yeah, I mean, you can dress it up to be as patriotic as a naked bald eagle.
Oh, so you dressing it up is getting it to the level of a naked bald eagle.
Yeah.
But if the bald eagle had the American outfit on it, then it would be like, game over.
I wonder how many conservative parrots, I wonder how many conservative parrots out there know how to say like MAGA or something.
True. I bet you. Oh man.
Conservative parrot meetup. We should start that.
Do you know it'd be crazy if there was a conservative parrot that could like do like just like a PragerU speech?
Oh,
like what somebody's
recite it.
PragerU like
that'd
video.
Be awesome.
Yeah. Candace Owen parrot.
Parrot you.
Candace Owen parrot.
Let's make a Candace Owen parrot where we just feed it Candace Owen lines over and over again, so it just repeats the word. It's just the most annoying line.
Candace Owen parrot. It's so funny to say. Okay. Yeah, that was it. Candace Owen parrot. Next. Yeah. This is all of the different. I mean, it'll say.
Yeah.
So no audio or what?
No audio.
Yeah, no audio?
Sorry, audio.
Yankee Candle's stages of abstraction. Level 1. The scent represents a physical object where the object's aroma is one of its distinct properties.
Black cherry.
Level 2. The scent represents a physical object in a specific state, where the aroma represented is not necessarily that of the object.
I'm sorry, I'm not following this at all. What is going on?
Clean cotton.
Okay, so I think we should just preface it for the listeners too. This is talking about the how slowly Yankee Candle scents are becoming more abstract. So the first one was a literal object and what it smells like, which is black cherry, right? It's that's the scent. The second one that it shows is what is it?
Like white cotton or something
cotton?
like that?
Clean cotton.
Clean cotton. And that's like the next abstraction, which is like it's an object, but it's more what state the object is in that is the smell rather than the object itself.
Okay. All right. And then the next one is
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, turn the audio back on.
Of that object's state. In this case, the cleanness is the smell, not the cotton. Level 3. The scent represents a location or event where the aroma
What does it say, Dan?
is supposed to be
It says
reminiscent of an
cliffside
intrinsic
sunset
property held
or
by a collective
sunrise.
of objects, where that property doesn't necessarily affect the collective's aroma.
Cliffside Sunrise.
Yeah.
This is too big brain. This is like the combination of like the over analyticalness of this with the Minecraft like jumping around in the background is the most TikTok thing I've ever fucking like. This is insane.
It is.
Like I can't believe this is a real video.
Level 4.
I like it.
The scent represents an event with an intrinsic property.
Autumn
This
sunset.
temporal aroma is devoid of location or physical property, but a shared idea of the property is still understood.
Yeah.
Level 5. The scent represents a fully personal
Sunny
experience
daydream.
with some unrelated property. The experience
daydream.
itself has no aroma or
That's
shared
like my
understanding.
limit for me, I
Level
think.
6. The scent represents an abstract
last
location or
paradise.
experience which has some shared understanding
The
but is
last
ultimately fully personal. The aroma tries to replicate an idea as opposed to a location. Level 7. The scent represents only an intrinsic
All is
property
bright.
and a property that itself has no aroma,
What
nor
the
does it affect
fuck?
the aroma of any object of which it is a property. Level Omega. The scent
Sweet
represents
nothings.
a property detached from any object. The absence
I
of an
love the
object
smell of
is in fact
sweet
part of
nuts.
All is bright. Just
So-
is like so.
Yeah. The sun.
It's so crazy.
Where do you think Coca-Cola flavors lie on the spectrum right now? Because Coca-Cola's gotten really weird.
Right.
It's now at like emotions, right?
What?
Coca-Cola
Right.
flavors, the new ones.
So the basic one is the first one.
Right, which
Black
is
cherry or something
Coke.
like that.
Oh,
Coke,
yeah, oh, right, yeah.
Whichever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess first one is kind of the same one as the other variations. It's from Coke to vanilla Coke to cherry
Right.
Coke.
Right.
And then from that, I think it went on to I think it immediately went to like Stardust or something.
Yeah, I think they just jumped
Yeah.
fully. They were like, yeah, these are some literal flavor combos. And then all of a sudden it was like
wild cherry would be the next iteration
Right.
after cherry.
yeah, wild cherry. And then it was like full on like star. What are the names of the new? Can you look up abstract Coke flavors, Dane?
Okay.
I just need to know what they are right now. I think it's like something like wonderful, something like
Coke Wonderful.
space.
I feel like that is a new. That looks like that's a Gemini. That one.
Starlight and Dream World. It says.
Starlight and Dream
Jesus.
World are the so they went straight
As
from
vague as you can fucking get.
the most
New
vague.
flavor is something you may be familiar with. Crying.
like
What?
That's what it says.
That's so strange.
This new flavor is something you may be familiar with. Crying.
Coke has too much money and they're waving it in our face
Yeah.
by putting out things called Starlight and Dream World.
They need to make one called Consumer.
I hope this
Tears.
isn't the new like marketing trend or something because this is really cringe to me.
Oh, I think it is.
I think it
Yeah,
is,
I think we're
yeah.
gonna keep seeing it.
Unfortunately,
Great.
yeah.
Um,
Sorry. It tastes like ass.
Because
by the
honestly,
way.
when I was watching this, the more this progressed, the more upset I was getting. Where I was just like, well, how am I supposed to possibly know what this smells like?
I wish they would just keep it to like blue. Like when it gets
black
abstract,
cherry
just
and
say
clean
blue.
cotton, like I've smelled those things before or something like it. So I'm like, okay, I might purchase that.
well, it is interesting. It must mean that a lot of the scents that they're experimenting with in the lab, like all these places, like there's
They smell it first and name it last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just the idea that like a lot of the smells that we are familiar with in the real world, like I think so many of them are like neutral to unpleasant or neutral to like common that like you can't. And I think a lot of the smells in general that they're developing in labs are a little too ethereal no matter what you do. Like you can't, I don't know. Like it's kind of, I think even some of these candles where they're like, oh, it smells like what it smells like after it rains. Even shit like that, I'm suspicious if they actually do smell like what it smells like after it rains.
I'll tell you what, I was so suspicious when the Bertie Bott's beans came out and they were like, this tastes like grass. Yeah. As a certified grass eater, when I had that bean, I was like, holy shit, that is grass. They got vomit right.
Flavors are different.
No, I'm just saying though. Like I was a skeptic in that way.
Yeah, true.
And they nailed it. So I think they can also nail scents. I'm more confident. Bertie Bott's beans made me a believer in that you can synthesize anything you want.
I do believe that as well. Yeah. And I'm fine with them synthesizing stuff like clean cotton.
But fine autumn air.
Or what was it? All is bright.
All is bright.
What the hell does that mean? That's just stupid.
Probably has hints of bergamot in it.
That's I get that that's
bergamot. Shout out to bergamot.
I guess I just understand that it's like maybe a marketing strategy because at the same time as it being confusing is making me curious to like if I saw that in a Bed Bath & Beyond, I would pop it open and smell it, right? Because I'd be like, I don't even know what that is.
You know what game me and Ian used to love playing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of us would close our eyes.
You can play it to this day.
Yeah.
Couples, I recommend couples. Friends, I recommend it to friends.
Yeah. Close your eyes, one of you, and the other one picks a candle. You don't look at the candles. You can't look at them.
You can't look at the candles. You can't spoil yourself.
You can't spoil yourself. You close your eyes, and your friend or your partner grabs a candle, puts it under your nose, and says, "Guess the scent."
Yep.
Okay, I've done this game before, but it was a little different. It was like find the nastiest candle you could and trick your partner into smelling it.
You can do that.
That was the game. Was being like, here, sniff this, and then it was something disgusting. And they're like, what the fuck was that?
I used to really hate pina colada scents. I don't know why. Something about them made me
like
sick.
that. It is a weird combo though, like the coconut and pineapple kind of.
Yeah. I'm okay with it now. Now that I've had a pina colada drink, it's really weird.
It was just vague before though.
But like before,
couldn't place it.
I think it was the coconut and the sourness with it. I don't know.
I might have told you this before or said it on the pod, but like artificial cherry flavoring tastes like poison to me.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like I'm getting poisoned. Like there's like a cherry Jolly Rancher in particular that just like is disgusting.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I loved that Jolly Rancher growing up. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, if you guys want to get fucked up, do this. Grab a Kool-Aid cherry jammer.
Okay, I hate those.
And then
continue.
Eat a whole container of smoked oysters.
Oh wow!
Follow that with a cherry Kool-Aid jammer.
Wow!
It will taste like you inhaled a bunch of like a sulfur or something off of like a firework or something like that. Like you maybe like lit a firework in your mouth.
I feel like that would taste like an olive.
Nope. No. I think it has something to do with that artificial cherry taste.
Interesting.
That just turns it into the most vile concoction.
So interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all you guys need to see with the candles.
Okay.
Thank you for...
Similarly, if you want to get like really fucked up, get like what is it? Pizza Hut. Go to Pizza Hut and get like a whole pizza and eat it.
You know what I used to do that I realize now as an adult is really weird? You know, I was talking about pizza day when I was in elementary and they would give you like the milk and one of the options was booster juice. You get a big cookie and a pizza. And I would always get the Mango Hurricane Booster Juice. Booster Juice is like a smoothie place.
It's like Jamba Juice of Canada.
Yeah, it's the Jamba Juice of Canada. And what I used to do was I used to take the mango smoothie and dump it on the cookie and eat that. And it would freeze the chocolate chips and the tang with it was so good. I genuinely thought it was so good at the time. But now looking back, I'm like, that probably was weird as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird.
But it was good. I think we should try it because maybe it's actually good. Maybe I invented something.
Next.
Barbecue sauce? Or do you have like a buffalo sauce?
I just want to show this woman more.
No Chick-fil-A sauce?
She definitely needs more airtime.
I love her.
And then you want Chick-fil-A sauce?
There's a new clip of her sticking her tongue out, and I love it. I'm obsessed.
She does it a lot here.
She has like she has a TikTok account, and she was like doing shit on that.
Yeah.
I didn't follow on. I should have followed because I had lost it in the ether.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen like more past this point.
I love her.
She does it with her tongue. Okay, guys, if you haven't seen this Chick-fil-A sauce girl, right now this is like a director's cut of it or something, and she's like sticking her tongue out between every inquiry. It's very freaky.
I fucking love her.
Yeah.
I literally love her so much.
Yeah, funny. I like it. I think Chick-fil-A should fucking hire her and give her a bunch of money to do a commercial.
I'll tell you what, she's going to be in next year's Super Bowl ad campaign for sure for Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that'd be sick.
There's like rotoscoping people are doing of her. The Hello Kitty rotoscope is the funniest one.
Freaky.
I saw that one.
So
I saw some 3D modeled one that was really ugly.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay. Just respect. Shout out. No Chick-fil-A sauce girl.
No Chick-fil-A sauce?
No Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay, I saved this specifically for Dane.
Nice.
All right. Wait, why did it start at like 1 minute in? What the
Probably because that's where I stopped watching.
Oh, does that? Oh, I didn't know TikTok did that.
I didn't think it did, but apparently.
Okay. Well, anyway, what?
Do we want audio?
Do we have to watch this?
No, we don't have to watch it. Let's skip it.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. So
wait, audio or no?
we'll do the audio, yeah. But I just want to set it up. There's this guy on screen and it says, in quotes, "We done with the 90s trend." And I think he's basically talking about basketball in the 90s and how, like, kind of like it was shit compared to nowadays. Like, they weren't as skilled. I think that's at least the argument that's being made.
That's all sports, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The levels increase. Yeah. But it's just worth mentioning for anyone who doesn't think LeBron isn't the GOAT.
Oh.
At least currently.
Okay.
Like, sure, there might have been a time where Michael Jordan was the GOAT, but I think LeBron.
That's the argument he's making in this TikTok.
That's the argument I'm making currently.
Oh.
He might make that as well. Who knows? Let's see.
All right.
Bro, have y'all seen the "we done with the 90s" trend, bro? I'm not gonna lie. I originally thought he was just nitpicking all those clips because it looked too bad. But I went on YouTube and started looking up old games, and it's a lot of games on there. I pulled up the 1996 NBA Finals Game 1, 72-10 Bulls, supposedly best team of all time. Dude, everything I'm about to show you is from the first quarter of that game. Look at this shit, bro. Right off rip, we have the GOAT Michael Jordan hitting the side of the backboard with 17 seconds on the shot clock. We literally clown Russell Westbrook for that. And look at this shit, bro. Look at this shit. Kept fires from deep. Nigga, he's inside the three-point line. Look how they glaze.
It is funny though, because you're right. You can do this with any sport.
Any sport.
Looking back at some of these like old boxing matches, it's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
It's constant innovation.
Just a slugfest.
Yeah.
Like no one's like competing. Like it's just trading punches. There's no dodging.
I love sports because sports science is constantly innovating and growing, and like things that you couldn't access or couldn't do. Like if you look at Wayne Gretzky, like, you know, everybody knows who Wayne Gretzky is, but like, you know, if you had him play against players now,
right? Like
there's things like one of the coolest inventions in hockey was they made a treadmill that you can skate on. It's like an actual treadmill.
That's so cool.
And I got to skate on it in the hockey program. And when I was hearing about it, I was like, this is so fucking weird. I was like envisioning like sheets of ice that like fold under or whatever. Right. But it's this like waxy plastic, and they literally strap you in. You're like in a harness, like a bungee harness, and you're skating, and they film you from different angles. And they have a computer that comes in and say like, your legs are angled like this and you're leaning too forward. And they'll like actually actively correct you and get you to do the correction while you're on this treadmill. That didn't exist when Wayne Gretzky was playing. Yeah. Of course players are better than him. There's so many like tools and things that are constantly being like made and sold to coaches.
And the information gets shared so fast where it's like, you're going to be so far left behind. Your team is going to suck ass if you aren't constantly consuming the new meta.
Keeping up with the trends, like it's very cool. But it you know, you always have to talk about like, Michael Jordan still is an amazing player. He's amazing with the tools that he had and the knowledge that was shared within the basketball community.
Yeah. It's all dependent on the time.
Yeah.
I don't really like that debate at all because I do think that like it is very time dependent, obviously. But I will say like basketball, the way it's played now is very different in that it's so much more like. Or I guess it's so much less physical than it was back then. A lot of people always say like, oh, they had a lot of low scoring games back then compared to now where there's like a lot of high scoring games. And a lot of people like to automatically translate that to more skilled players because they're just making more shots. But the way that I see it, just watching the games just casually, like I'm not even like a huge like basketball nerd or anything like that. I don't like watch every game or anything like that. But just compared to what I used to watch back in like the early 2000s to how I'm watching it now, the refs are so insanely trigger happy with the whistle, and you literally cannot like touch another player or else you get fouled. And
interesting. I've
seen that. And it obviously, like, it's a documentary that's obviously just trying to, like, document Michael Jordan's legacy. The Last Dance, like, all the clips that they show from that, like, it's insane what players used to be able to get away with in the 90s as far as, like, physical contact. So, like, the game was much more physical.
Wow.
Getting the ball to the net was so much harder because you would physically get thrown to the ground and no one would care.
If that is because in hockey, once it kind of became more popular, this conversation of like head injuries, things like goons and stuff have been like pushed out of the NHL.
Goons are the people in hockey that do the fighting on your team.
Yeah, you just get a big guy to fight.
Yeah.
Like
There's
really
a designated role, basically.
Yeah, a classic fighter was George Laraque. He was a fighter for the Oilers and Montreal Canadiens. Classic goon. It was an integral part of the team. And that has like gone away because head injuries are so at the forefront of the conversation, which they should be.
Right.
That like they've tried to mitigate a lot of
anything you do have control over.
Yeah,
you kind of want to.
Yeah, and I wonder if hockey's gotten less physical for that reason. It's still obviously very physical, but comparatively. Yeah. And I wonder if basketball's the same, where the same conversation's happening, where it's like, guys, you don't want guys falling and smacking their head on the floor. Like, this isn't a physical sport. We don't need to, like, encourage that. And I don't know because I don't watch basketball at all, but I'm curious because it sounds like around when the conversation was happening in the NHL, the NBA might have been having the same conversation.
Well, I can tell you this, that like it certainly seems like in basketball, injuries are bad. Like you can lose entire seasons if your star player gets his foot stepped on.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, I mean, I don't think that the NBA is rigged or anything like that, but I do think that there's a lot of influence from the people who are in charge of like coaches or like people who are in charge of things higher up who are basically they don't really care that it's more strict nowadays because it benefits them overall. It's
protecting the players, the money makers.
Yeah, exactly. If my star player doesn't like get thrown into the ground or like hip checked and like possibly injured, then that's overall a good thing. Even if it makes the game less fun to play, the people who are coaching these games, they don't care about how entertaining it is. They just want to win, and that's understandable. That's their role. But in my opinion, I think that like It's a little bit more entertaining when the whistle doesn't get blown every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It is very irritating to watch. And that is like the major difference that I've noticed. And so when people bring up like, oh, like these games are going in past 100 a game nowadays. Back in the 90s, they didn't even crack 70. It's like,
it's different.
That makes sense to me because you can score more easily now. It's just like you just get fouled and get a free throw.
If I was one of these refs and, you know, I was getting fucking chewed out by players and coaches about like, you know, letting things, you know, play out. And I was more of like a fucking 3 strikes and then I'll call something out. Like I would totally, you know, kowtow to whatever the coaches and the shit saying.
Refs love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They love pissing off, at least culturally from my sports. Yeah. I was a ref. I refed for like 5 or 6 years and I was friends with everybody that refed in the sports that I played in. And they fucking love pissing off coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause it's like,
because they are the
authority.
Yeah. And they don't have to fucking listen to you. It's like,
ignore
I have
them.
a job to do and you can't fucking do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
a lot of refs are pretty like lackadaisical.
Interesting. Okay.
And even if you do tighten your grip, you will have one coach that has a problem. And it really, to be honest, doesn't matter if you are loose or tight.
Right.
A coach will have a problem. There was this one, it was actually very traumatizing. I was like maybe 12 or 13. I was reffing a boys. They were like 10 years old. And this kid, they ran into the corner and this kid picked up the ball and very last second he turned around so his butt was facing the other kid and the other kid was mid cross check and cross checked the kid into the boards head first.
Oh yeah.
Kid went head first in the boards.
Did he cross check his fucking ass?
No, his back.
Okay, his back.
It was his back. Well, it's kind of his ass back area, but it was
back.
he was in the middle of hitting him, but he turned. So the kid went in head first in the boards. You have 2 options when somebody does that, right? You can give them cross-checking, which is a 2-minute penalty.
Right.
Or you can give them hitting from behind, which is a 4-minute penalty. You can up it if it feels like it was like really egregious.
Right.
Kick him out of the game. I decided I wasn't even going to call it a hitting from behind. I was going to call it a cross-checking because the kid turned and you know, put himself in that position.
Right.
So I gave the kid who did it 2 minutes. The father of the kid who got hit from behind also happened to be the coach of the team. So he was not happy. And he was screaming at me. His kid took a while to like get up or whatever. So he went into like, I guess, father mode and was screaming at me. I'm like a 12-year-old kid. He comes off the bench onto the floor and he says, "I'm in the army. I have a knife collection. Would you like to meet them?" Like in my face. It was the most
what a cringe.
terrifying thing I'd ever.
God.
I'm like standing there. Parents had to come grab him off the floor. He actually got banned from being in arenas because he had threatened me with knives.
I can see why you would not give a fuck about these.
You don't give a fuck.
It's like you're doing your job. Yeah. They don't see the shit you're doing.
No. They don't understand. They think that you're being malicious.
Right.
So you get a little.
Totally.
You know. Like, kids will kind of do little things and I'll pretend not to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fuck. What if I call that? I'm going to have somebody else threaten knives on? Like, I don't know. It's just, so.
It's all judgment call. Yeah. You're in there. It's like, that's all the reffing.
Being a ref is so hard.
Yeah.
And you get really sour as you.
Yeah. Part of me wants to try reffing.
Oh, man. You would love it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to do.
I mean, I don't really like referees as a watcher of basketball because they are extremely inconsistent. And honestly, I get why they're inconsistent. It's just human error most of the time. They just don't
human
see
decisions.
I mean, some teams just get supremely unlucky and the coaches just don't see any of the shit that happens to them. But they get all the calls made against them. And it's just because they just didn't see it or whatever. There's like angles or whatever. But my question is, like, we have like such good technology now, like where it's so easy to capture literally everything that's going on. I saw actually they just introduced like an LED like court, like a court that's literally all LEDs with like sensors on it and stuff that can tell you where everything is. And I'm thinking like, why don't they just like develop a court where they can show you exactly where they were standing whenever they took a shot, so that this discrepancy between like when they step out of bounds or whenever they make a 2-pointer versus a 3-pointer, like why isn't technology going into eliminating the obvious human error problem that referees have had, and feels like they have it even more nowadays for some reason.
Super interesting. I would love to like ask other athletes and like I've coached and played and reffed their position on that, because my position, and maybe it's because I'm a boomer, I love the dynamic of human refs in sports. I think that it is an amazing unpredictable variable of other human beings that are participating in this thing that you have to adjust to.
So interesting.
Like even when I was coaching, you'd look at the you get to know who's in the community, and you'd be like, okay, it's these fucking refs. These guys don't call this very much. These guys do look at this very much. And there's something very fun and exciting about that.
That is interesting.
And I don't like the idea of that being taken away and given a robot.
Well, I'm also thinking about other sports. Like I'm thinking of boxing, and I'm like, there are refs that you want depending on what type of fighter you are.
Or you'll adjust your fight depending on that ref.
Yeah.
Does that ref let you hold?
Yeah.
Like, or does that ref let you fight out of the hold?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you're even entertaining that, Ian, because we just got done with a podcast where, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but where we unlocked that your life is very much revolves around fairness and things like that. And that's something that I think that I can get behind in a way when it comes to games specifically. Not necessarily life, because I just think that life is much more unpredictable. And games are where you can kind of like, I don't know, experience like a fair environment because like you have control over it. I don't really like that though.
Okay, so after experiencing like my boxing matches, one thing I have noticed, which I'm not a fan of, is like I'm not super competitive to the point where I will flirt and play around with like
the
rules to the point where like I will get like called out by the ref potentially. Like I don't even like reaching the point where the ref tells me don't do that. I've never had that happen. But competitive people who want to win at all costs will do that. So like for me, I would have like an incentive. I would be like, yes, I would like that to be judged by a robot, because I would have a better shot at winning because I like following the rules in that case. Yeah. But that's kind of on me.
Yes, that's your like debuff.
Hurdle. Yeah.
That's your debuff.
100%.
And I don't know. To me, I think that having that RNG, having that thing that you like, sports is a game, like a chess game, a strategy game. And there's different variables, and looking at it's the coach's job, in my opinion, and the players a little bit, but the coach's job to look at all the variables and make the best decision based on them.
It sounds to me like you're saying that the debuff is that you don't toe the line. But towing the line is just seeing if you can get away with breaking the rules.
Yeah.
So you think that a part of competitive sports should be trying to get away with breaking the rules?
Totally. And it is in every sport. Like even when Ian was learning how to box.
Because that's how it is, but
no,
you think that that's how it should be?
Yes.
I mean, maybe it is a little bit boomer, or maybe we just disagree, because I just think that that's unfair and it kind of defeats the purpose of a competition.
Well, I would say like I don't feel like regular physical human sports are ever going, like, I think there are some that that limit the amount of which like that human error exists. Like maybe curling is going to be a lot better than a team sport like well, curling's a team sport, but it's going to be better than basketball for those types of things to be broken. But like if you truly like that kind of stuff, it's like fucking CSGO, Hearthstone, like that's the avenue I think your interests have to go down.
Yeah, I man, it's interesting, like talking about like it being fair or not, or I don't think it's actually a disadvantage. Like reffing can be a disadvantage if you can't creatively work around it, right? So like, what's a really good example of that? It was Mike Tyson who, Michael Briggs was telling us this. He knew that he could turn his back to the fight.
I think that was Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather.
I want to say Floyd was very good at picking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of this aside, like Floyd set up a lot of his fights to his advantage.
Right.
By having the choice of picking refs.
Yes.
So he would do that, but I guess in the cases where, you know, it wasn't
a ref that he was favorable for or that he liked.
He would be strategic in knowing you're not allowed to punch the back of the head.
Yeah.
Or the you know, so he would turn.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah. He would do the turn to get, and like, so even if the ref isn't favorable, there are things that you can look at and be like, this ref isn't favorable. What does that mean for me in this game?
Mm-hmm.
Like sports are creative.
Mm-hmm.
They're creative, and there's things that are happening in them that are uncontrolled. Like football is played outside. You know, it's snowing. What does that mean, right? So I am very passionate, just because I really enjoy, I think especially coaching, with having human variables in everything. Timekeeping, players, coaches, refs, everything. Because even timekeeping fucked up in yours. And I think that makes the sport more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy that your thing got fucked up.
There is something to what Dane was saying about, like, you know, integrating the technology in such a way. Because, like, especially with something like fucking football, it's like you can definitely, like, they take so much time to, like, review plays anyway.
No, yeah, it's true.
That it's like, in something like that, it almost feels like it is keeping up with the technology, where it's like, oh, yeah, that wouldn't have been caught.
I like that they add things like that, like in lacrosse and hockey. I know for sure in the NLL, I think in the NHL as well, they have a camera that looks at, so the net's set up and there's a line in the net. And if the ball or the puck goes over the line, it's a goal. And in the past, it was the ref's job to get there and see it cross over the line to call it a goal or not. The thing is, in lacrosse, the ball's very like fast. And so sometimes the ref would call it either a goal or not a goal. And it's like, the goalie will be like, that definitely wasn't fucking goal. So in the NLL, the coaches can throw a flag basically and say, like, you need to review that on camera.
Cool.
And you can review it on camera, and they can like make a call. And I don't know what I think in the NHL they do, you can go upstairs and like look at it. Okay. And that's great. Like, I think that is should be a thing.
It's a good option to have in addition to, like, but like reffing is intrinsically subjective. Like a good ref is a ref that's played the sport. Dude, I think I'd be a fucking good ref. You have to be able to play the sport. I think I was born to be a ref. Yeah, I think so too. I should ref. And make calls. Like, every ref is different. Every ref's belief system is different, right? Like, when I was reffing lacrosse, you have shoulder pads, right, that are plastic, and if you hit someone kind of near the top of the shoulder pad, it will slip up and hit the helmet, right? You could call that a high sticking. And a lot of refs that didn't play the sport would call it a high sticking. Right. But if you played the sport, you understand the shit pops. Yeah, it's a subjective, it's a complicated thing. So you call it when you personally feel like the intention was to high stick. Right. And that's just the reality of reffing. It's incredibly subjective. So, go ahead, Dane.
Oh, no, I just have a question for both of you, actually, because I think you might have different answers possibly, but I'm not really sure. I just am wondering, what do you guys think the, like, philosophical or, like, overarching purpose of playing a game is?
To have fun? To win?
From the player's perspective, this is what it is. Like,
I don't know, because I just was put in sports when I was very young. I didn't really
right. You've never thought about like, why are we playing a game?
Yeah, just to
pass the time and entertain everyone.
To pass the time,
Hmm.
Live life. To see if
to advance the human race.
to see if you can be better for yourself than you were yesterday and help your team.
To learn.
Right. So it's like a self-improvement like technique or simulation.
I think, self-improvement in like, how did you play during the game? You know, did you work on the things that you wanted to work on? Did you participate better? Did you work with your team? And this is specifically for team sports. You know, were you helpful? Did you do something together that you were proud of?
How much of that, like percentage-wise, do you think the purpose of a game is to discover and like record who is the best at something?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I think that like if you improve and you work well and your team is doing well, you have a better chance of winning. You know, if you want it a lot, you can win. But I don't think that like recording. I want to preface this. I'm an extremely competitive person, like aggressively competitive. Ian is not.
That's to me slow blinking.
That's definitely where we diverge. And I love the feeling, or the feeling of winning is nice, but the feeling of losing is terrible. And I do love it when my team wins things, but I don't actually think that is the main purpose of sport at all. I think it's self-improvement, working on things, working together, seeing what you can do and what you can accomplish when the odds are stacked against you, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a competition, but it's mostly against yourself.
Yeah.
It's like a competition against this person you were yesterday.
Yep.
See, that's a good way of looking at like games, and I think that's a good way of looking at life. And I think that if you were to ask me the question that I asked you, it's like games, the purpose of games is to simulate the competition of life, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think that to a certain degree, games being unfair is a pretty okay simulation of game or of life being unfair.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
But I also think that like it's like 50% simulation of competition or simulation of life, or like I guess the discovery of like who's the best at something. It's like half of it. The other half is entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think that in order to entertain people who are invested in a sport, you also have to like make it fair. You know what I mean?
I don't know. People love yelling at the refs. I think if you took that away from people,
I think that's a big part of it. I think you're right. It's one of the reasons we stopped watching that fucking bullshit Netflix, the Elite 100.
Well, that
right?
No,
I didn't like it for that reason. Come on.
No,
you guys
totally
explicitly
different.
said that you didn't think it was fair what they were doing.
I agree, because they didn't have like a subset of rules that even made sense, and it wasn't communicated properly.
Right, and that's my point, is that like the balance of it being the balance of it being unfair and it being entertaining is like a fine line to ride. And whenever you eke a little bit too far in one direction, I feel like it ruins it. And so I don't know, I think maybe you guys thought it was eking a little bit too far in the unfair direction in that case. I personally think that in modern basketball, at least the games I've watched this season, is eking a little bit too far in one direction of the unfair on the refs' side. And I don't necessarily blame the refs, but I do find it a little strange that some teams just get eternally fucked when it comes to free throws. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of makes it less entertaining when you feel like there's nothing you can do about your team losing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you want to stop watching.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know, I'm like a big sucker for like overcoming like stacked odds to the extreme.
Sure.
It's the reason why I love Rock Lee from Naruto. So like when I see a team facing hardship like that and they still try and sometimes they win, I think that's the biggest payoff. I think that's fucking awesome. And like I would be sad if those stories didn't happen anymore.
It's not really
Have either of you seen the movie with Brad Pitt called Moneyball from like 2011?
I fucking love Moneyball. I made Ian watch it.
You did.
Yeah.
I did watch that Moneyball bullshit.
Yeah, I love it.
So I have a little bit of like a hot take about that movie. Maybe I think that I think his name is Billy Bean is the main character. I've seen the movie quite a lot. Like surprisingly, it's very rewatchable. Billy Bean is like he's kind of like a bitter asshole who was so upset with he was just like fed up with losing to unfairness that he ruined like baseball and sports for everyone else just to win.
Oh,
that's so interesting.
Because look,
I saw him as like such a hero, and
the movie paints him that way, and I think that that's kind of a little bit of a mistake of the movie in a way. But the thing about Moneyball, if nobody's seen it before, is basically a baseball manager figures out how to like kind of like what would you say, like exploit the system of the way that like managers are given budgets to buy players. And he basically just like developed an algorithm with Jonah Hill's character to figure out the cheapest players who will get on base, and they found out that getting on base like translated to more runs, which translated to more wins. And they actually broke the win streak in baseball using that method.
Such a cool strategy.
Yeah, it was a cool strategy. It was. And you know why it was a cool strategy? Because they were the underdogs and they figured it out, and like they kind of like figured out a little exploit. It was cool.
Yeah.
But the problem is now is that like the New York Yankees can do the same thing now. Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So it's unfair again.
I really like that interpretation of it that you described about
so
it.
He's kind of like Mark Zuckerberg in a way, where he had this intention of like, oh, we'll bring everybody together with like social media, right? It's a good idea. But we didn't know at the time that like, oh, once every single person on earth gets on social media, it's going to be a shit show and horrible. You know?
I guess like maybe I have a different, I feel like sports are like an animal that is constantly evolving and everybody just changes with it. That's kind of what, it's like patching. It's like when your game gets patched basically. And then you have to like readjust to the new drops.
Yeah.
And I've always really liked that, even if it is like it comes off as like cheap at the beginning, or like a you still have to adjust, and everybody has to like play the sport the way that it is now. Like the fucking NHL patch where like goons are no longer a thing. Now like you have to look out for really cheap fucking hits from players. Like that sucks. Sidney Crosby, I think, got injured a fuck ton.
I like that way of putting it. Like,
and now you have to, now you have to like readjust, and it's like it's cheap. It sucks that now there's players that are going around and like sticking the blade of their stick up people's
and sometimes it's really not your favorite patch.
No, it sucks.
You
sometimes.
maybe preferred it before.
You have to like figure out, and then when somebody figures out a new exploit, then it gets it's patched again, and then that's just how games like evolve. And I think it's interesting, but I understand
when I was looking at the boxing patches, or from back in the day.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked is just the visuals back then.
Yeah.
The graphics were way better because there wasn't a bunch of gaudy shit all over people's gloves. It was so like nice and polished. It looked like a fucking video game.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. So boxing, the patches in boxing, heavyweights were like king, and then little guys were like doing people thought that was super cool, and then like heavyweights, fucking 24 round boxing
Right, that was a thing. Yeah.
And then too many people died, and then they were like, well, gotta like, you know, like.
See, all that stuff is interesting. I agree with that. But the problems that I always have are the unfairness that come from the politics of things.
Yeah.
And Moneyball is a perfect example of that, because it wasn't necessarily because the players got better at the game. It's that the people putting together the teams like exploited like money basically. It was like the lamest, like nerdiest, like it was just like, yeah, we're gonna figure out like the best algorithm to figure out, like it's so like anti-sports to me. I don't want to watch sports and be like, well, this team algorithmically has the best team because they get the most run. Like, man. I don't give a shit about that. I want to see strong players doing awesome things, and that's all I care about. And whenever they take that away in one way or another, being that like coaches won't let, you know, LeBron James push anyone, like that's so stupid. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
fair. I think though you have to give credit to smart GMs. Like GMs are part of the thing, and there's some really smart, and there's stats heads out there that love, like my brother is a stats head and he loves that shit.
There's got to be a good ass like Moneyball-esque movie about like some like fantasy football guy who like knows all the shit.
My brother.
Yeah.
You should make a documentary about my brother.
My ass.
my ass.
But yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's hard. I think definitely if you're not interested in like my dad specifically was like massive into finding like good players that no one knew were good or no one gave a chance to, and like having a configuration of a team that like strategy wise works, but like you wouldn't get it until you like look at it and on a sheet of paper.
Yeah, the concoction is special.
But I also get, I mean, for a lot of people who are watching it for entertainment value, I get that. It's
I'm coming from a place of purely, I'm just watching the games. So like, I think it's interesting, your perspective as a competitor.
Yeah.
Being more open to the politics makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, we have 4 more minutes. Let's see what the next TikTok is.
Wait. No. We should spend the next 4 minutes. Ian's going to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
So right now we're recording. The podcast will keep coming out. We'll have enough for his trip, but he's going to Australia to see Max and Chad and do some crap.
Yeah. Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts. Are you excited?
Yeah. I've already booked a tattoo while I'm there.
Yeah.
Excited for that. I think I might have Chad pick out the tattoo just because, you know, it's funny.
Where are you getting it? Where are you going to let Chad pick a tattoo for on your body?
To be honest, well, probably somewhere on my leg.
Yeah,
Are you going to make a video about that?
No.
Why not? That's such like a great idea for like a throwback video.
It's
because
full circle.
Remember back when you made
But I wasn't planning it, no, I get that. I just mean to say that, like, I don't know, it was just, it's going to be more serious. Like, I wasn't wanting to like goof off because he's going to like pick just a tattoo out of the Flash book. I don't know, I just don't think it'd be that interesting.
What, you don't think he's going to pick a funny one?
I mean, he might, but I don't know how many funny that ones
Here's my suggestion.
Yeah.
You film it. If it's not funny, don't post it.
True. I could do that. Okay, I'll do that.
But yeah, I'm excited. Solo trip.
Thank you, Dane. Great suggestion.
Yeah, thanks, Dane.
No problem.
Solo trip for Ian. I don't have to take a 15-hour flight.
Lucky.
Dude, bro. It's not even fucking 15 hours. Like, it's more like 24 hours total.
No
between.
Yeah, isn't that flight most of the time you have to do a layover in China?
No, not most of the time. Some of the time.
Well, what about this time?
This time, I'm just going to LA to Melbourne.
Oh my God, that sounds like hell. Have fun.
Okay, don't fucking make me feel...
Oh, wait, no, well, it's sick. You get to see your bestest friend.
Well, I mean, I was just saying, like, I don't even want to think about the flight.
No, I know.
I'm ignoring that right now.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll just be on it, and I'll be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, you just play Hearthstone the whole time. You could play Hearthstone for 24 hours and not...
True.
You know? I feel like if nobody interrupted you, you could play Hearthstone for 24 hours.
Yeah, you have sat in a chair and played Hearthstone for like 13 hours straight before, right?
Yeah.
So you can do it in the air.
Good call. Guys, we have a podcast on Patreon. It is an additional podcast to this one. It's kind of similar vibes, but more epic.
We're going to talk about the guest before the guest podcast.
Probably, yeah.
I will say
it will be awesome sauce.
This podcast was super. I really liked this podcast personally because it felt like you didn't have anything prepared and it felt super off the cuff.
Good.
And that's how the bog feels most of the time also.
Yes.
True.
The bog.
So if you liked the vibe of this one, you'll probably like the bog as well.
We should, if you liked this vibe more than our usual vibe, let us know. If you liked it less, let us know. If you like it the same, let us know.
Just say whatever in the comments.
Just tell us your feelings. We're gonna get
Thank
Wendy's
you so much for being a subscriber. Thank you so much for being a loyal patron. If you then went over and subscribed to the Patreon. I think our next guest, after the one that we had recently, I'm thinking either Dax Flame or
Vosh.
Vosh.
He's in Tacoma.
He is. We got to get some locals out here.
What, Vosh?
We got to get some locals out here.
If we get Vosh out here, Seattle will have wept.
Seattle will weep.
Yeah, we could do that. Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking having...
Peanut Butter Gamer.
Well, there's Peanut Butter Gamer, yes.
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Theo Joe.
Oh, not Theo Vaughn.
No. He's kind of like low-budget Theo Vaughn.
No. What does he do?
Just tech reviews, I think.
Oh.
Parody tech videos.
Oh.
He's old school YouTuber, too. It's funny. I don't know what he's doing these days. But I think it would be great because I don't want to pay to fly people out here. And I just was thinking about having like Jasmine from 90 Day Fiancé.
I would love that.
Come on. And it's like, we could figure out a system to have like a call in because I think that'd be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the worst.
No.
We're so remote, Seattle. It's so hard for people to get here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
I want Eric Comment Etiquette to come on.
I want Eric Andre to come on.
I want Eric Bana to come on.
Huh?
Eric Bana, he played Hulk.
The way you said that,
no,
Eric
Mark
Bana.
Mark Ruffalo way better Hulk. Mark Ruffalo.
I don't know about that.
Kind of a sly guy in
I
Poor
actually
Things.
think Lou Ferrigno best Hulk.
What?
I think
OG.
Fight Club boy, what's his name?
Brad Pitt?
No, the other guy.
I don't know.
Edward Norm.
Edward Norton.
Norm.
His best Hulk.
I love Norm Here's Whom. Norm Here's Who.
All right.
Huh? Anyways, we're gonna get Wendy's now. Hasta
Da.
vista.